New Year's Day. It's a whole new day for a whole new year. So I'm just waiting for people to show up. Good to have you. I'm just gonna be paying attention to the chat room a little bit and hanging out because I did everything else I needed to do, and tonight I've got some good stuff on the network that I put aside. Happy New Year, Emily. Greetings, Shane, TJ, Kevin. Hey, what's going on, Abe? Morning. Dwayne here. Dry Creek Wrangler School. I love watching Dry Creek Wrangler School. I first found Dry Creek Wrangler School channel when I was on my first Yellowstone binge, and I realized, oh, I want to take over Montana and absorb everybody's ranches and just become a tyrant up there. I said, who can help me? And then I found a soft-spoken man named Dwayne, who I love now. It's fantastic. So, Happy New Year's, Frank. Watchable smoking. What am I smoking this morning? This is I think that this is a vanilla cognac hand rolled from Lefty's. I was gonna have one of the, quite frankly, Jester cigars today because I usually have one on New Year's Day, and it is beautiful today. It's beautiful. I've got my blue fleece on today that really accentuates my bust. Speaking of busts, did you see Dolly Parton last night? And I heard that she downsized her tits. That is actually, she got like a little bit of a downsize. I said, it's not even that they're big, it's that you ever go into like Party City or something like that, and you go into the back where they have all the masks and shit and the prosthetics in the costume store, and they actually have the full prosthetic chest, like the entire chest. It's almost like a breastplate you put on, and there's boobs on it there. It just seemed like it was all one piece, you know? And I know that they're nearly 80 years old, but still. Anywho, the entire thing. So I had a few things I was going to be doing today, and I have more. I got more to introduce you to tomorrow. I have, but for tonight, we have a cool thing going on tonight. I don't have any. I don't. I don't have any. Whatchamacallit? Tonight on the show, on the network, I have two things that I picked out, network related or New Year's related stuff. Two movies. So we already played When Harry Met Sally on Friday, to play that nice light romantic comedy for tonight. That'll be on quitefrankly.tv. And then afterwards, we have a cozy little satanic detective thriller, a Y2K detective thriller for End of Days. There you have it. It's been a long time. I had two things set aside. We got End of Days, Arnold Schwarzenegger, that 99 into 2000 Y2K panic. I love that movie. So tonight on quitefrankly.tv, we have two movies, and then all the late night stuff is going to be, just random picks and fun stuff. So, Harry Met Sally and End of Days on Quite Frankly TV. Dolly has a niece that's on the show Moonshiners on occasion. Oh, I didn't know that. Yes, Dane Wigington on Wednesday night. Hello, Jesse James. Good to see you. Yeah, it was good. It's a good one. American Girl. And End of Days, if you haven't seen End of Days, It's often forgotten. It's an often forgotten Schwarzenegger film, but it's good. It takes place in New York City on the eve of the Y2K celebration, and they stumble upon a very big satanic plot to like pretty much usher in the Antichrist on the eve of the new millennium. So it's a good one. I'll probably be watching that with you guys too. Just cast it right to the screen. End of Days is the best movie. Yeah, I should have put Constantine in there too. Maybe that's a late night movie tonight. Maybe we go Harry Met Sally, End of Days, then you have the end credits, and then Constantine. Just jumping into it. Oh, and there you go. Mark Daga just said, I always associate Constantine with End of Days. Yeah, they're on the right track. They're on the same. What about the Pope's death? Well, they got the Pope's death in right at the last moment, huh? That's something that I would get in touch with Ryan Gable about, which I already have, to see if there's any, you know, how does the math bear out? What kind of synchronicity? When it comes to very significant deaths, um, and I think, at least I think that the death of Benedict is significant just because of the anomalous nature of his pontificate, that first to resign after 600 years and then just stay. They say it's for health reasons. Yeah, health reasons. He stepped back in 2013, and John Paul II stayed Pope. And he health reasons. They thought he was going to die in the mid 90s because of how bad his health was there. You just, if you're, regardless if you're Catholic or not, the nature of the papacy is you're Pope until you die. It doesn't matter how bad your health is. So I don't really. There's so much more there, and I don't have a good understanding on it. There's a lot more reading I have to do before I can form an opinion. But it's definitely significant, just because of how anomalous the whole thing is. Historically speaking, the death of a pope is always significant, just because of the pomp and circumstance of the whole thing. But weird. Hello, Peebles. Hello, Linda Love. Katie Cat. Francis is half gone himself. Yeah. Uh, we thought that he was going to die last summer. That didn't happen. So, let's see. Let's see what happens. I'm just here looking at watching the chat room and having a New Year's Day coffee and a smoke. Talk to Leo Zugami about the Pope stuff. Good idea. Leo's going to be coming on to talk about the themes of his latest book, the Illuminati Volume 8 or something, and inside of that is mostly about Hollywood and psychological messaging in Hollywood and that whole stuff. But definitely got to ask him about that, about the Pope. Kevin, what does Matt do on a day like today? I don't know what Matt is doing today. Matt was here last night. He was here last night, and we played some Cards Against Humanity. We ate. It was Matt, his girlfriend, Mike, his girlfriend, Anthony, his girlfriend, Aurora for as long as she could stay up, and then we put her in bed, and then it's my mom and my dad, and it was nice. My mother-in-law stopped by, and I just like having things going on in different rooms so people don't have to be whatever. So we dip into the living room, you watch a little bit, the kind of this rotating, my mother is just rotating through different channels of different broadcasts. The CNN broadcast, we stopped in on that a couple of times, and it was, I don't know, I mean, I hate CNN, but if I'm going to sit back and watch television for whatever kind of an occasion, I just force myself to be objective about things and try to keep my personal feelings out of the way. Hard to do that when they bring in the corpse-like Joe Biden with his corpse wife, with the funeral director. That's going to be Jill's name from now on. Jill is the funeral director. And so he supposedly appears live to Ryan Seacrest with the funeral director, Jill. and and I just, obviously that's just like, ugh, just turn the channel. But there's something dead about the CNN broadcast in general. There's just something across the board dead. There's no life to it. The people on Anderson Cooper's just a weirdo, obviously. You know, his family, we know the kind of high level spook nature of that whole job there anyhow, but there's something dead about it. And after midnight, I'll bring this up because I got to try to find the clip. It was probably like midnight, and Anderson Cooper and that Cohen guy, they bring on this other dude who goes deep into the methods that the Iranians employ to hang people, to execute people. So it's only a couple minutes past midnight, and they're talking about hanging people by the neck on cranes and how it's different. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? What are you talking about? They're talking about executions in Iran a couple of minutes past midnight. It's like, geez, Louise, just get drunk and do some jumping jacks, you know, play with the skip it or something. Why are you talking about this? So that was weird. So we kept jumping between there and all of the performances on several other channels just to see what's going on. What was the gunshot to firework ratio in your area? In our area, it was quiet because it was raining. It was raining, so it was very quiet around here. There was nothing. I mean, back in the day, we would at midnight, all the kids, all the adults, whatever it was, you ran outside the front door at midnight, yelling and banging pots and pans together. And I think the tradition is that the pots and pans, the clanging, it got rid of all the bad spirits. Some of my Guinea friends would go out on their front stoop at midnight after the ball dropped and spit. Just get the old stuff out, spit out the front door. But we did pots and pans. Just so I did bang, 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 bang. That was fine. I have plenty of fireworks still left over, but I just didn't. It's raining, and I have a lot of elderly neighbors. I'm not going to do that to them. So, not going to do that to them. Still, I wonder what you guys do at midnight. What do you do at midnight? One big thing. Oh, here's one thing I gotta employ all of you guys and implore all of you guys to help us with something in the new year. Whether you watch on Rumble at 7 o'clock or whether you watch on YouTube or anywhere else, the like button is extremely important from here on in, and the Rumble Plus button extremely important. We got to make sure that people, as they come on, hold on, 150 more illegal aliens just arrived in Westchester. Hold on. There you go. But as everybody shows up to the show these days now, almost like when you dip your finger in the holy water in a church, all you got to do is just hit the like button. And I want to see how that really affects viewership. Because what I'm reading and what I'm being told is that it is supremely important. So, little tiny things going in. into the new year that I'm going to be paying attention to. I got 2 minutes, maybe 5 minutes before the next plane. What's up, Patty Whitty? Man with a porpoise. Tricycles. Hucklebearer, thank you so much. Thank you so much. We'll see what happens. We're making our own breaks in 2023. Making good friends. So tomorrow night, King Bao is coming on. I heard that he just got voted the best MMA or UFC interview of the year. I guess that was for the whole Jimmy Kimmel thing. King Bao is coming on for a short segment tomorrow because he wants to give some opinions on the Andrew Tate thing and what the whole takedown is about. Me personally, like I said, the jury is out. The jury is still out on me, before me, when it comes to Andrew Tate, because I don't really pay attention to him, and I don't think that a lot of the things he says is necessarily groundbreaking. It's just that a lot of people who have never heard this stuff before are getting it for the first time, and that's a positive thing as far as how the world works. But I would not be surprised if the Andrew Tate thing is one of those perfect shitstorm situations where so many things are true at the same time that it's impossible to try to isolate what this is really about. Obviously, the timing of the arrest with the confrontation with Greta and everything else, and the slow unraveling of the highly censorious nature and atmosphere in Twitter is all very, I don't know, you can't ignore that. But as far as Tate's background and who he is and his family and what he may have been involved in, I don't know. But it could just be that so many things are true at once. Sterile. Let's see. Jordan Peterson greater than Andrew Tate's message. I would agree. Personally, I would agree. If you spend any time on Instagram or Telegram or Twitter or even going through those YouTube shorts that just pop up in successive order, you come across short clips of people like Andrew Tate and Jordan Peterson all the time. And there's definitely things that Tate says just like, well, that's pretty based. But Jordan Peterson, there's a different quality to him that I find a little bit more endearing. He cries a lot, Jordan Peterson, but then again, I understand why he cries at this point. I really do. I really do. You know. He cries because he's a pussy. I listen. You can say what you want about Jordan Peterson and how much emotion he shows, but anybody to work conditions he has and be attacked like that, keep going on and all that stuff, you're definitely doesn't, a pussy doesn't operate like that. A pussy would run away from all that. Definitely not pussy-like, but obviously it's just personal taste is something else. If you don't like it, you don't like it. Oh, what's going on, Truth Quest? What's going on, Eaglet? Just listening, how are you? Do you think it's another media focus? What's that mean, Karina? King 40 greater than King Bao? What's the closest airport? That's Westchester Airport. That's the one that was uncovered to be one of the choke points of the federal human trafficking from the border. That's the one that's been making the news. It's like, yep. And in fact, the distribution center for all the people who are trafficked and sent into the Westchester County, they put them on buses, and they bring them to a local Costco around here for distribution into the county. Cover of nightfall, nobody knowing. Do you have any traditions like eating black-eyed peas and turnip greens to bring you money in the new year? No. When it comes to money, the only tradition I have is working myself ragged, which is not necessarily a good tradition. I think the better tradition that I have to better fine-tune myself into doing is working more efficiently. And I'm building a nice mastermind of people around me that I can delegate things to and make it more team oriented. So I think it's more working more efficiently. As far as culinary traditions, what I do now is when I was young, my grandmother, my father, the elders in my the elder statesmen in my family, on New Year's Eve we would always start off with shrimp cocktail. We'd always start off with shrimp cocktail. Everybody had a shrimp cocktail cup at their plate, and then we would either have spaghetti or linguine or something like that. So there was a seafood and a pasta element to our meal. And then the rest of the night is just, coffee and whatever else, cakes, and then comes the ball dropping. And then once midnight hit and we all went outside with our pots and pans and came back in, that's when they would bring out the cold cuts and the rolls, and that's when people start making sandwiches. And I always loved that. And then afterwards I missed out a lot of these years, but I was there at the tail end of it when they would start playing poker. So the card games would begin after midnight, and that is when all the cold cuts come out. Now me, I just love cold cuts so much that I say fuck it. We're just gonna do cold cuts. We're just gonna do cold cuts at the beginning of the night. So I don't know. Maybe I switch that back to a midnight tradition someday down the line. But first, I have to see that I'm hanging out with people who are going to stay up past midnight. Because I'll tell you something. The ball drops, and by 20 after 12, everybody's home. Everybody goes home. It's no more midnight warriors anymore. And I don't blame them. I was tired as hell by 10:30. And that's just indicative. That's just something that always happens on New Year's Eve no matter what. Because on an average night, I'm going to bed no earlier than 12:30. Sometimes 1:30 on really bad nights, 2. Depending on how I'm working and how my workflow is, if I have download problems, whatever. I get a lot of things that keep me up at night. But 12:30 is child's play for me. But when it comes to New Year's Eve and you have to stay up until midnight, it becomes the biggest slog. You just can't say, oh my God, 3.5 more hours? 3.5 hours? What the hell are we going to do? So, it's weird. You got to start partying at 10 to make it to 12. Yeah, that's why I told everybody, you know what, come by the house. Come by the house sometimes around 8 or 8:30. What happens? Everybody shows up around 5:30 because they want to see the baby. And then it's just, okay, we got to stretch this out. We got to stretch it out. Got to stretch it out. You see, we've already had a little bit of, with the likes that have come in right now, we're at 221 likes. And all of a sudden we're looking at 500 people hanging out. If those likes were down around 100, 115, we'd be hovering around 298 people. So there's something to this. There's something to this. We're going to have a good test. It's going to be a good test tomorrow night. Are we going to have Kathy O'Brien on this year? Absolutely. I'm always looking for reasons to bring people like Kathy back on. In fact, Kathy sent me a nice New Year's Eve text last night. and that was great. It's good to have people like that out there. What is this year going to bring, ladies and gents? What is it going to bring? What are we going to see together? What are we going to see? Your guess is as good as mine. I didn't. Hold on. My new neighbors just showed up. Ross Ben. I love Ross Ben. I was introduced to Ross Ben when he appeared on the Higher Side Chats with Greg Carlwood, which we gotta have Greg back on too, all throughout the year. Let's see here. Let's see. Let's see what else. Whitney Webb, long time bucket list for me. I'd love to have her on, and I try, and I'll continue to try. Don't worry about that. I'll always keep trying. Let's see. What's weird about the Andrew Tate coverage is nobody is talking about the relevant details of the cam girl factory he ran out of his house that all these trafficking charges stem from. What are the relevant details? Because I saw a thread on that. I saw a thread on all the cam girl stuff. It was sent to me, and somebody threaded it back in April. And like I said, it could be one of those. This could be one of those situations where so many things are true at once that it could just be a perfect shitstorm. I'm more interested in having King Bao on to talk about it, just from the standpoint of that whole Agents of the Matrix thing, where someone like Bao, who uses his ability to get attention on him, especially through the fight game and everything else, to call out people, what the response is going to be, because you'd have to imagine the response is going to be a little bit more fierce in the years to come, since they're really trying to put the squeeze on to bring about their new desired path for the world. So, what is that? The ice. Ice is dripping down from the top porch. I left the ice bag up there for cocktails last night. That's what that ticking is. Hello from London. Hello. Howdy, Chris. Happy New Year. Well, this was nice. I wanted to do at least a half hour with you guys and gals. I want to do more stuff like this. On Sundays, usually, this is just a private affair for the monthly sponsors. I send out the unlisted private link on Sunday afternoons, and we do about a half hour to an hour, just like this. But I like to do more public stuff like this as the year presses on. Just for those of you who don't know, hold on. So for those of you who just showed up a little bit earlier, or showed up right now, who weren't here before, I just want to remind you again, tonight on quitefrankly.tv, starting at 9 o'clock, is our programming, our Sunday night programming that I curated. There's some random stuff that are going to be worked in there, but we have 2 movies that we're going to play that are New Year's related. Number 1 is romantic comedy, light romantic comedy, When Harry Met Sally. And then we're going to go right into satanic detective thriller, Y2K detective thriller, End of Days, with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Great one. Great one. So I got 2 good films for tonight on quitefrankly.tv, and we'll see what else pops up along the way. So 9 o'clock, put it in your reminders. I got some stuff lined up. Happy New Year's, ya boy. Okay, okay. Couple more minutes. Just want to see what people are doing. Jules, it's 63 degrees here today. Last week was single digits. It's I don't know if it's 63 right now. Hey Siri, what's the temperature?
Okay, I found this on the web for what's the temperature.
Hey Siri, what's the weather?
Okay,
Are
I
you
found this on
serious?
the web for what's.
Hey Siri, what's the fucking temperature right now? 52 degrees. See? She responded to that. Sometimes you have to be a little firm with Siri. Sean Connery would be happy that I just did that. The temperature, bitch. The temperature, bitch. Okay. What else do we have? 42 in Oregon. 55 and raining. I love the climate change today. It's been good. I did not work out yesterday. I did not work out today. I'm just giving myself a 2-day rest. Tomorrow I go back in hard. Let's see, 72 in Charleston, South Carolina. Wow, 50 in Indiana, 70 in Houston, 47 pissy rain. That was pretty much yesterday, Chris. Barbara Wawa would be offended. You know what's funny? If any of you saw the Sean Connery Barbara Walters thing that I put out on Twitter and on Truth Social and on Telegram yesterday, I got in touch with Josh, one of our video editors and producers on the network end. I said, Josh, do me a favor. This was like 4 weeks ago. I said, take this little clip of Sean Connery and Barbara Walters, cut it off right there. Take the Sigma Male grind set song, have it queue up right there, and then play maybe like a 30-second compilation of all of the clips from the James Bond movies where he's slapping women on the ass or something like that, and just being a mensch. And let's just keep this. I didn't know what I wanted to do with it, so I had this video ready to go weeks ago, and then all of a sudden Barbara Walter dies, and it became funnier to me because everybody's commemorating Barbara Walters. I put this out as an R.I.P. Barbara. You have been reunited with your prince, Sean Connery, who's also in heaven, or at least Sean Connery's in heaven. I don't know where Barbara's going, but it's funny because since she died now, and everybody's being very reverent about her, the way that the video progresses is it's a piece of her work with Sean Connery, and then it ends up becoming a tribute to Sean Connery. And so it just takes on a funnier tone to me now, sharing it after her death. And what are you gonna do? So a little tribute to Sean Connery on a very trying day for the rest of the country. John Wick marathon today. It's tradition. I still have not seen the third John Wick. Lauren and I have watched 1 and 2. Uh, Gotta watch the third one. I should have gotten a different camera angle. This sun is just killing me in the face. But, all right. Well, that's all I wanted to do. I'm gonna go and get in touch with my nephew and see if he wants to go with me to my father-in-law's house and borrow the flatbed so that I can deliver a. I'm giving my nephew my weight bench. I said you got to take it. I haven't been using it. I just doing other things, and he's going into senior year in high school. He plays on the championship varsity football team in the neighboring town. So you're probably going to use this better than me. So giving it off, making some room in the basement. But thank you guys. Thank you guys and gals. Happy New Year. I'll see you tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. And in the meantime, remember, 9 o'clock on QuiteFrankly.tv. We've got some good stuff lined up for you. And it's our year, man. It's our year, man. It's our year. Make or break. And I like making. I don't like breaking. All right? Be good. It was great talking to you all. We'll do this more, I promise. Nighty night.